you can pretty much see if it's going to capture something that looks like you. What's up with that outfit? That's definitely me. Now it's not so much me. It was me at one point. Just have to like maybe take the sampling steps. Well, like half woman there. I mean, they're not bad. Just turn me into Jesus. Hey, what's up everyone? In this video I'll be showing you how to train and fine-tune the DreamBooth extension, which will give you the ability to add yourself, or basically anyone you want, into the AI generated images. If you don't have the DreamBooth tab, you want to go into extensions here, and then go to load from, and then just select the DreamBooth tab and install it. Once you're in here, you can select create. Now, there's, I would say, 3 different ways that you can train the model on your face. One is just creating the model, which I'm going to name Rev, and I'm going to train it on the ProtoGen model that I downloaded. And I'm going to select ProtoGen. So it actually works best with, I would say, Realistic Vision, which you can download off of a certain website that I will link. Once you create your model, you'll see it under the Models tab under DreamBooth. Okay, set the training steps per image to around 150. I want to set the learning rate to 0.5 zeros and a 1. You can change the learning rate scheduler to constant, or you could just leave it the same. Or this would be good from one YouTuber, which I will link in the description below. He also said to check the use EMA, but I forgot to do it here, and he didn't really explain why, but tried looking it up, still couldn't figure it out. But I've tried it with it and without it, and didn't really notice a difference. I want to set this to 8-bit Atom, mix precision, FP16, and if you could get xformers to install, which I couldn't, major headache, set that to xformers. Helps with the virtual memory on your graphics card. You can uncheck the cache latents. And for concepts, there's one way you can do this, which is using file words to categorize each image of yourself, and it will link it to other images that the AI generates that are similar, that it tries to pair with your face, but that can kind of mix up the AI that I noticed, because it was saying that I had a beard in a lot of my pictures, and I don't have a beard. I have more of a goatee, and a lot of the images that it was generating me with a beard then. So I guess you could go in there and take that out or modify it if you needed. It's kind of creepy actually, because it's able to detect, or basically take a good guess of what image it's looking at of you. So just wearing a headset, and it was a cropped image that you could just see my head in, and it said that I was in a recording studio and I was speaking in front of a mic, which you couldn't see the mic, which made me think that somehow I was able to see the original image. So a little creepy, but it could come in handy if you have a lot of images. I only trained it with like 10 images of myself, and it's actually good to just not take just only headshots. It's good to take some like waist high shots, because the AI has a lot of trouble with generating my image with anything that's like not close up of an image of someone else. Otherwise, it'll just like replicate another man's face on my face. So I think they say you can only use like the minimum's like maybe 5 or 6 images, but a lot of people actually get a lot of great success with 15 to 25, they say. And some people even use as many as like 300. So in order to create the file word images, you want to go into your source directory of your images, which mine are right here. And then you would have a destination for the other images that it's going to create of yourself with a caption of each image. So you can create a subfolder within there. Something that looks like that. The only thing is if you ever do extra training, you don't want to link it to this subfolder or this folder, because it's going to create extra images based on all the images in the subfolder, which I wasn't aware of. I was just wondering why it's like taking forever. It's like making something crazy like 3,000 class images or something. And it's taken, like, I don't know, over like 3 or 4 hours to process, and I just cancel it out. Anyway, so once you do this, if you want to click use blip for caption, and then pre-process, should only take a few seconds. And you'll see a text file next to each image of yourself. What you want to do within that image is change man, woman, or dog, whatever image it is of whatever subject, and you want to have a specific word that is not used anywhere else. For me, I used THXB, just replace man with THXB. So it will look something like that. A man with a beard, I didn't have a shirt on, sitting in a chair with a remote controller in his hands. Yeah, I don't have a remote controller in my hand. So it was generating a bunch of these images that were men without shirts on with controllers in their hands as examples. So you could just like come here and like modify this, otherwise it's going to be really strange. You just take out this, and you can take out the beard if you don't want a beard on all of the AI generated images of yourself, if you don't have a beard. And you want to change man to a specific keyword that you're going to use. In my case, I use THXB. And then you could just save that and then go pull up each note that's right next to your face on every other image. Hopefully you don't have like 300. If you do, there's certain programs that you can use, like I think someone said Notepad++, or there's a command in the directory if you know how to use that. But I'm too much of a noob, and I just went in and changed each letter and customized it. But I actually don't even recommend using this method because it actually takes longer, and it's probably actually more accurate if you have a bunch of images to pair with that, but I only had 10. So this is the other method that you can use. Oh yeah, and actually when you want to go into the training, you'd want to select this folder. Go into the DreamBooth setting. And then for the dataset directory, you would want to put this folder in. And then you would want to have another directory on top of this one where you create a new folder where it's going to put the new images in, the regularization images. It will create a certain number based on how many images you have in there, based on how many you select here. On the class images per image, you want to have at least 10. I recommend 10 of these regularization images per your image. So if you have 10 images, so it'll be like 100. But for some reason, is only selecting 5 for me. Maybe because I kept selecting train wizard person, and maybe that was messing it up. But regardless, it kind of has like the same results. I think I have the best results with this method. This is definitely a noob, hopefully talking to other noobs, making this a little easier. So that's one method, but I'm not going to use that method, and I'm going to show you another method. I'm going to link a directory or a website where you can find 1500 images of faces, and that seems to work the best for me. Okay, so we're going to change this to the original images, which you want to crop by 512 by 512. You can use any simple editing software for that, like a iframe view. They have some other softwares that will automatically do it for you, I think, but I just went in there and tediously did it by hand. And then you want to link the dataset directory with the 1500 images that you downloaded. Alright, I have that in there. Now, the instance token, we're going to skip that, but if you were using the file words, you'd want to use the subject, like key, basically your special word, and then class would be man, woman, or dog. We're not using that. You can also use like photo of keyword, and then like person or man, and then just man, but you can just keep it simple. So the instant prompt, you can use file words. You can actually just like use it like that. You can actually do that if you're using the file words, but not doing that. So I'm just gonna put a keyword and put for man, the class. And I think we're gonna leave this at 0. So we already have them. This is basically all left the same. Yeah, that's basically it. And then just go into train. Sometimes it might see an error, but if it does, just hit train again and it'll go through. Like so. It's really weird why it does that. Oh, okay. Some kind of error with, that's really weird. That's what I got with the last time. It doesn't like training on Protogen for some reason. The name length is too long or something. Let me see if I can shorten that up. Well, okay, there's some kind of problem with training on Protogen for some reason. It's like the last model, maybe it's glitched out, who knows. But I have another model on here that I can train on that I have not yet trained on, which is Dream Shaper, which is more of like an anime style, but it's not bad. It's my least favorite, actually. I can create the model for it. Sometimes when you create a new model, it kind of messes the UI up and you have to like restart it. Okay, now let's try to train it with all the same settings, and hopefully they kept. Yeah, it likes to say that. Check your dataset directory, even though it's perfectly fine. And then it gives an error. And then it lets you train. It's like 2 errors, 3rd time's the charm. And I think that messed me up a lot. So it's training for like 1,300 steps. Which, this is a lot faster. Train in like, I don't know, like 10 or 15 minutes. All the other training sessions I had were like 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, just not knowing what the hell I was doing. I still really don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I sort of know what I'm doing, I guess. To where you can pull out more consistent results anyway. It's really finicky on if it's going to pull an image that looks like you, depending on how much stuff that you have in the prompt and which model you're using, as well as a few other settings and factors, which I'll get into and do a demo of here in a second. I'll be back when this is done. So this is part of the training, by the way. It will just pull up images here. So that's why I thought it'd be good to do train person, but whenever I did that, it would always just like reduce my classification images. It would reduce my class images per image to automatically 5. I don't know if that was an issue with just hitting clip training person tab, but I see that a lot of people don't even recommend that. They just recommend hitting train, so that seems to work, and this is perfectly normal. It will just pull up random images. Well, this one's not random. It's telling you how much RAM you're using and stuff, and learning rate, which is better to have a lower learning rate. And these are the images I will be training you on in the certain scenarios, I guess. When I was doing the class images or regularization images, it was like just like going too crazy with it when I was doing the file words, because one image I was wearing a headset and it was making like, I don't know, like 10 or 20 guys with headsets on. Like microphones in front of their faces. And that's not really the trained image I wanted it on. So this is what works the best, I think. Just having like 1,500 images of random people. This is what those images look like. It's just like 1,500 faces. You could take some out, I guess, but it seems like most people just say use them all. But if you have 10-minute images like me, I guess like 100's fine. Okay, finished training. It took 16 minutes and 23 seconds. Not too bad, considering the first few were taking like 40 minutes to an hour. Yeah, so I accidentally closed the window. You don't want to do that. You're gonna have to restart it all over again. So I was able to install xformers to the latest version, which is, let's see, I want you to install, I think like, 0.017, but the latest version is 0.18, and once I installed that, it just like made stable diffusion unusable. So there's this big issue with xformers, but it will increase the generation speed, especially if you have like a older video card. But I have a newer video card and it seems not bad so far with the processing times. Seems like just about everyone has an issue with the xformers working though, and there's usually a really long workaround, it seems, but I just kind of gave up on it. So now that we have this loaded, you want to hit the refresh button here and you'll be able to select it, which is right over here. I did my dad and my mom too. It's pretty hilarious. I was able to make like a younger version of them, like a 20-year-old version of them. And I didn't upload any young pictures of them, so it's pretty amazing. You can definitely make older versions of you, because I kept trying to make older versions of me. So you would definitely want to put like old in the negative prompt. Or wrinkles. Okay, now that we have that loaded, we can go into the text-to-text image. So in order to get these different models which drastically change the way you'll look and how the art is generated, you can go to one website, which is scivitai.com. One of the best ones to use is Realistic Vision. It's the most realistic. The one I just downloaded is Dream Shaper, but my favorite is Lightrail and Deliberate. But there's a huge list to choose from here, and you can get a pretty good idea of the prompts with some of the demos if people are willing to share them, which they do for most of these. You just go to download here. Once it downloads, you'll want to move that file into your Stable Diffusion models folder, which is located right here. It's the AI folder, then models, and then Stable Diffusion, and just copy and paste it right here, or drag and drop. Actually, I want to drag and drop it, or cut and paste it, because those files are kind of big, 6 gigabytes. Most of them are around 2 to 4 gigabytes. A warning though, apparently some of these files can contain viruses, so you'd want to download at your own risk. There are ways to test for them. They're called pickles or depickling them, but just seemed way too complex for me, so I just basically rolled the dice on them. I mean, 100 million people downloaded it, or 100,000 people downloaded it, and it's still up. It's been up for quite a while. I'm sure it's fine. Okay, so once you have the model downloaded, if you want to use a specific model, which you probably should because it's definitely a lot different of a style, it can definitely make it look a lot nicer. Try to see if you can find some kind of a demo, which will definitely give it a good starting place. Okay, I'm going to try this one. Seems like there's a lot going on in the prompt there, which you probably want to edit most of that out of there. There are some ethical and moral issues with using some of these referenced artists, but once you combine like 4, 5, 6 of them together, which this person's doing, it doesn't really look anything like the referenced artist. This is just for reference though, and I'm not trying to resell any of these images. Plus, a few of the referenced artists, or specifically a few of them, are plastered everywhere, all over all these prompts, so there's way too much going on, which will probably conflict with your image yourself. So usually you just want to put your prompt of you in the start, and you can follow it up with like man, woman, because usually it'll like to generate a woman. And I like to put for the negative prompts, woman, female. Even when you put all this, it'll still make you a girl. And some good things to put, but since it's on like an anime model, normally if you want like a realistic look would be like anime as the negative prompt, cartoon, etc. 3D. The sampling steps, it's basically like how detailed it will make it. Most people usually use like 25 to like 40, but some people go crazy with it and use like 90. It will take a really long time to generate it. So, good range is usually like 30. The CFG scale is usually a scale, from my understanding, is to incorporate how many of these things it wants in the image. But if it's too high, it will usually create artifacts on the AI image, which just looks strange. This is from a different model, but you can pretty much see if it's going to capture something that looks like you. What's up with that outfit? And if it doesn't look anything like you from the... Well, sometimes it'll start it off looking like a girl, but then it'll try to change you into a guy. So you want to see like at least halfway through, I guess. But it's generating them pretty fast. If you want, you can just skip. You figure like making a large batch. And you don't like how the crop top looks. I mean, these are pretty close. Pretty close, except that one. This one looks the most like me, I would say, but not really. Sometimes you just have to run a few to actually get something that looks like you. It's like half me and half someone else. If I just start taking away like half of this stuff on here, you definitely want 8K in there. That kind of looks like me. Just got my eyebrows. Let's try some of this. Yeah, I feel kind of bad because it's going to put a lot of people out of business. It's take a lot of digital jobs, logo artists out of business, digital artists. I just saw something where they're doing a model shoot with AI generated women. That one looks like me. Just to get a different variety of body types and skin tones or something, they said. Okay, so to get a different idea of styles, let's just put something basic. Let's do the prompt with you, man, or dog, whatever your prompt is. And then just do like painting. And add something extra like surreal. Just a good idea, because realistic vision is not too good on the paintings. And it's doing two of me for some reason. I mean, they're not bad. Just turn me into Jesus. So, 2 out of the 10 photos I uploaded were me just shirtless. And another 2 were from my sister's wedding where I was wearing a tux. And a lot of the times it tries to make me shirtless and put me in a tux. So, it's good to have a nice variety of outfits, expressions, different angles, and different lighting. Let's do something more intricate to the prompt. Let's do like melting, like weird, odd, strange, like rooms, LSD, just to see how creative it can get. Can always add 8K to the end of whatever. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, let's quote some artists, I guess. You will see a lot of those artists everywhere and trending on CG Society and ArtStation. But there are quite a variety of artists that are used, but those seem to be the most because it seems to produce some pretty nice results. It's a lot more polished. And I think the AI is just trained on specific artists. I mean, you could put in like Salvador Dali and it will do a pretty good example depending on the model. Let's see, art style. Dali. But it will turn you into Salvador Dali. I mean, it's like half me and half Salvador Dali. Yep, that's definitely Salvador Dali. So these are basically the things to play around with. And as a comparison, just to see the different models. I don't really like this model though. The RPG model doesn't seem that diverse, but apparently it's good for certain scenes. So, I don't know what's up with their face. It's probably the least artistic. What's that on my head? Yeah, so. My two favorite are Deliberate and Lyrel. Probably Lyrel is my favorite, but it's not too accurate on faces. Okay, it's making me shirtless a lot. And for me, since all of my pictures are just head only, got a giant shroom on my head, it's good to put like up close, which eventually I'll take some further away shots because the further away shots just don't look like me. Like, I know that's gonna have some trouble with detail, but this one definitely doesn't look like me. This one looks more like me. That definitely doesn't look like me. So maybe like 2 out of the 6. I mean, they're capturing things about me, like my facial hair, and it captures my eyebrow a lot, it seems, but the rest of the face, yeah. Alright, let's check out Lyrel, which is my favorite. This one's pretty close. just way more artistic. You can just get way crazier designs. But it's probably the least likely, or least likeness to your face, I would say. To my face, anyway. Here it is, making me a woman. You'll definitely get a lot of those. That's definitely me. And now it's not so much me. It was me at one point. Just have to like maybe take the sampling steps. Well, like half woman there. Yeah, that one's still probably the closest. You definitely try these with different models too, just to kind of give you an idea for prompts. This one's pretty cool. And I'll show you how you can just get totally different styles from it. Let's take out the up close first. So the seed is supposed to bring you a closer representation of the image, but usually I don't even use it most of the time. And you don't need it to create something similar, but let's just throw it in there anyway. These tell 35 steps and the CFG scale at 7. Well, we're not going to follow that because we're going to create our own image, which is probably going to look nothing like that. Okay, I don't want my face as a skull, so we're going to take that out. And we're going to take out the golden ratio. And ink illustration, and we're going to take out the tarot card, and probably symmetrical and ornate as well as vibrant turquoise lining, and black paperback. Just taking out like half of it, and let's take out the grayscale too, and the detailed line work. And you get a way more interesting image. It's pretty cool. That one kind of looks like me. Let's do close up to see if it can capture something that looks like me. Let's say, yeah, that kind of looks like me. Yeah, that one looks like me, sort of. Like 50% me. And you can kind of get an idea of what the others will look like if you try to run different models. Like I was saying, that was my favorite. I don't even know what that is. Oh, got interrupted. This is the RPG model. Still pretty cool. I like those last three. Those not so much. It's a little too vibrant for me. Monochrome. I like the dragon or whatever was going on here. Hope this video helps you out, and if it does, hit that like and subscribe, and hope to catch you on the next one.